Welcome to a visit with Nana and Papa. I'm Nana.
Papa.
We're coming to you from Austin, Texas, where it is finally not hot.
Today's high is only like 73, 75. Gorgeous day, and I'm probably going to spend it in bed, unfortunately.
I am so happy. It was 60 something 2 mornings ago, or 60 something this morning, and yesterday morning. And I cannot be happier. Just thank you. No more 100-degree days for a little bit. Unfortunately, Valerie had 100-degree heat in Bolivia, which they've never ever had because they're up in the mountains in Bolivia. And
wow.
yeah.
That's
And it's
special.
not even summer yet.
Sounds like ours.
Yeah, sounds like our summer this year.
Now, this is take two, just so you know. This is going to be a shorter take two. I'm going to tell you straight up because we did take one, and I actually managed to sleep through my 3:30 meds this morning, which is novel, but not good at the same time because my medicine only works for about 4 hours. So I did not get my medicine at 3:30, and when I woke up at 6:15, I said, no, I'm not going to take my meds because she wanted us to do the video this morning, and I would like to be present for it. And my meds, it's a 50-50 shot. I might be present, I might be passed out. So I didn't take my meds. And then we did our video, but the microphone was not plugged in. Now we're doing the video over again because without the microphone, the audio is inadequate. But my meds were supposed to be taken at 9:30, and I have been in enough pain for the last 6 hours that I'm taking my meds. And
it is 9:30.
I just took my meds, and now we are beat the clock on get the video shot before Jim lays down on his wife's shoulder and says, "I love you, babies," and then he'll get watch me sleep.
It shouldn't take that long. All right.
But you never know how long it takes for my meds to kick in, baby.
Yes, I know.
And I'm already halfway there.
So, knitting this week, I'm going to go over what I would knit a little and then what I knit the most. So, this I did work on. I am on my decreases. It is the Hermes hat by Beatrice Rubio. I love it because it's 2x2 ribbing with some cables.
I love it too, and I love the color. That's one of my favorite greens. It's almost a Kelly, but it's a little brighter than a Kelly.
It's got some blue pops in it, and I just think it's cute. I am gonna make it again though, and I want to make it honestly with this color because I think if I made it with this color, this cable would really stand out. But I love it. I thank you, Beatrice, so much. It's a great pattern. Yarn is Lady Dye Yarns. Needles are US 5, which is 3.75 millimeter.
Oh, speaking of needles, a friend of ours, Tammy, pulled some needles out of her closet. They were brand new needles that she'd never used before, and she's never going to use them again because they are 3.5-inch needles, and she prefers to knit with 5-inch needles.
I wish so much I could get them.
Valerie will add a little note down here at this point, and you can look down in the notes and say, and you can contact Tammy, and Tammy is willing to do a trade.
So if you have 5-inch tips to trade for her 3.5-inch tips, she would like them. They are Lika copper needles. And one day I will try them.
Check it out. If you can help her out, do so.
Anyway, the other pattern that I'm working on, but this is my work knitting. You've seen it before. It has grown a little. It is the Vibes Tee by Tiff Nealon. The colors here and here are from Dystopic Fibers. I do not remember the color names. This is Poison by Long Dog Yarns. I'm pretty sure it's called Poison. And then I don't know the color name, but this is a very pale pink that is on a Surrey alpaca silk. And yeah, Vibes Tea. I think it's
That's
a
the one
US.
for our granddaughter Isabel.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure this is also US 5. It is US 5 3.75 needle. And this is my work knitting. And then
Oh, my sweater. My cables.
I'm getting
Show
there.
my cables.
I'm working on what started as the Granny cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I'm still following her instructions. I've just replaced every single cable. So it's
My fault. Sorry.
this is a center back. It's gonna be a Celtic knot. It's just gotten started, so don't freak out. But it still is really nice cables.
Awesome cable babies.
And they're cables that he picked that he wanted. So.
Good cables. I have
And,
excellent taste in cables.
And I just got started. I probably won't show this again for a while. I'll keep working on it, but they don't need to see 1 inch, 1
Yeah.
inch, 1 inch.
Yes, you do.
Because you want to look at my sweater?
No, look at your sweater.
Look at your sweater.
Look
You
at my
want,
sweater.
that's what you want. I said, you want,
I
look
want
at my
to.
sweater.
I want to show off my sweater and show my cables. Because as you make an inch, I have more cables. And
Okay.
eventually you're going to get into my Celtic knot. And everybody will go, ooh la la. So, we'll see this more often than she thought.
Anyway, the needles that I'm using on this are, I believe, a US 6. Yep, US 6 4.0 millimeter. And the yarn I'm using is Knit Picks Swish DK. And it is in the Marble Heather colorway.
And Rebecca, my sister from another mister, helped with that yarn because she was out here to go to South by Southwest and we went knitting. Okay, I didn't. I was just there. We went knitting at Hill Country Weavers. And part of our reason for being there was so Rebecca and I could wander through and find the yarn that I liked. While we found the shade and texture and whatnot that I liked. And then we took a picture of that. And then we took a gander at the price. And I did not like that yarn as much as I liked the yarn before I looked at the price. Then my beautiful went about finding something
already
like
knew.
that at a better price. And that's when she got that yarn. But thank you, Rebecca, for helping find the starting point for that yarn.
Yeah. And just so y'all know, his first choice was Madeline Tosh in a similar gray. All right, and then,
I don't know who Madeline Tosh is, but she's expensive.
but you like her yarn.
I
But
do.
if you didn't, if money was no object, I would be knitting with her yarn because you would have gotten that yarn. You wouldn't even waited for me. If you had won the lotto and you still had money, you just would have got it. You would have seen and you would have touched and you went, that's what I want. And you would have grabbed the yarns and you would have taken it up and you would have paid for it.
This is true.
Just saying.
She knows me. We've been married 20 years. She should. She knows me. She has a hard time with me in Christmas presents or birthday presents or any other shit because when I see something I want, I get it. So she like, could you just quit when it comes time for my birthday or anniversary or Christmas? Like, you're not allowed to buy anything. If you want something, put it in a wish list. And then she can go on the wish list and surprise me with
It
something.
doesn't happen very often because usually he doesn't put it in the wish list and I end up not being able to surprise him with anything. So
You surprise me with waking me up and kissing me.
I do make you things like,
Yeah.
but not, yeah. So, the Westnitz MCAL, when the video came out, I really liked the instructions for Clue 1, Section 1. And so I went, I really want to cast that on. So I did, and I got Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3 completed. I was about to start Section 4 when I got an email and notification, and then also saw it on social media all within a few minutes of each other. And Stephen West announced that he was deleting Clue 1 completely and removing it and changing the official Clue 1 to an easier square. And he stated that some of the people who had been knitting the Clue 1 felt that it reminded them of a swastika, and he did not want his name in any way associated with anything of hate. And I appreciate that. I love the original design. I did not see that, but now that someone said it, I can see where they're coming from. And I would not want to be wearing something that made people think that I'm that kind of person. So anyway, I ripped mine out completely. But I didn't like the new square because it's just not my cup of tea. And I've always wanted to do a log cabin square, but knit it instead of quilt it. So I cast on, and I am currently working a rectangle coming this way in my third color. The colors I'm using are all Holst Super Soft, all from my stash. The first color is Maize. The second color is Gold Crest. The third color is Brass. And the fourth color is Tobacco. And this is how they look. I think that's a really good fade. And I cast it on. I'm gonna work on it, but I'm not gonna work on it probably more once I finish this rectangle. I'm gonna set it aside. I want to finish the hat, get it off the needles. I want to focus on Jim's sweater when I have focus knitting, and Isabel's sweater when I need just mindless knit, so I can knock out Isabel's sweater so I can get them sent. I have yet to decide if I'm going to cast on anything for Claire or Robert. I'm thinking if I do, it needs to be out of acrylic, and I hate knitting with acrylic. So I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do there. But
now, just a quick footnote on swastika. Swastika is a 3,000-year-old symbol that meant conducive to prosperity. It's from ancient Indus Valley, Indus. And it was the favorite thing to put on coins in Mesopotamia. It's been around for thousands of years, and then Hitler decided to co-opt that symbol that meant something good and turn it into something evil. And while I understand people not wanting that, don't let Hitler win and steal a symbol of prosperity. Maybe it's time for everybody to take that symbol back and take it away from the haters, because that symbol is actually Sanskrit meaning good fortune, which is why Hitler stole it in the first place. So it's just a thought, Just because one asshat used something for evil doesn't mean it's evil. It was around for 3,000 years before Hitler. Let it still be around after Hitler. maybe we should take that away from him.
I mean, I agree with you in what you're trying to say, but unfortunately, right now, as we speak, there are people in this country that still.
Tons of white supremacists that flock into the swastika for the wrong reason,
I'm
for
just
the
saying,
Hitler reason.
Yes, and
That's like 88. People that use 88 for their call signs and whatnot. That is also an Aryan white supremacist because it stands for the 8th letter of the alphabet, which is 8. So it's HH, which is Heil Hitler. I learned that when I was researching Robert Kennedy. Anyway, onward and upward. Sorry about that digression about swastika, but
it's okay. In that vein, I'm trying to think. So I don't have any more knitting, but before you talk about your shows, really quick, because I don't want to forget this.
Okay.
The winners for the summer knit along were announced on a separate video. If you haven't watched it and you entered, please go check it out because we do have 2 winners next week. If I still haven't heard from anyone, I am just going to not have those winners. I'm not going to redraw. I'm not going to try again. It was just for patterns. We'll have another something come up in the future. We still have time to have a sweater, the Vibes tee, or the Stripes of Joy. That make along is still going on. We're still having Zooms on Saturdays. The weekend of Rhinebeck there will not be a Zoom, but the rest of this month there will be. We'll be talking today about whether we continue having them beyond October, and that's pretty much all I have for knitting. So shows we watched.
Okay, movie one movie. My adopted brother Omero got rained out of work. Hey, we got rain. We got so much rain, we got flooding. But Omero got rained out of work, and he called me up and said, "Hey, brother, I'm not working. What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, we could go see a movie." He's like, "Well, okay. I thought maybe I'd take you shopping if you needed to go shopping." I said, "Well, we got our shopping done with Walmart Plus. Got it all delivered, so we don't need to go shopping." So we looked into movies, and then he called his fiancée Jennifer, and she got off work early, and we all went to see a movie. And we didn't have a lot of options to choose from. Right now, horror movies are what is filling the theater because it's October and Halloween, so they think everything needs to be a horror movie. Our choices were limited to what could be seen during a matinee and be out in time for them to go and do their other things that they had on their agenda for the evening. And what did I go see? Now my mind it's paused. My mind is slipping.
I'm sorry, I have no idea because he never told me about the movie. So I just know he went to a movie, and I know he left for the movie while I was on a phone call, so I didn't know where he was going.
Yeah.
And he didn't text me to say, "Hey, this is where I went." And I messaged him to see if he's okay, and then I got a message back, "No, I'm at the movies." So that's all I know.
Oh, A Haunting in Venice. That's what we went to. Hercule Poirot. Based on the Agatha Christie character. This is the third venture. The first one was Murder on the Orient Express, and the second one was Murder on the Nile, and this one is A Haunting in Venice. Very good performances by everybody. Main character is Kenneth Branagh, and I reminded my brother about it, and he goes, "Oh yeah." See, my brother Omero is a big Harry Potter fan, and when he got nothing better to do and just has the mood, then they'll watch a Harry Potter movie. And Gilderoy Lockhart, the Defense Against the Dark Arts professor for book 2. What was that? The
Chamber of Secrets.
Chamber of Secrets. Gilderoy Lockhart was played by Kenneth Branagh, who also played the bad guy in Tenet, and he also plays Hercule Poirot. Check out Kenneth Branagh's history. He's got a lot of good roles. He's a very versatile actor.
Can I
Yes,
sneak
go
in
ahead.
here? I just want to make it clear that neither Jim nor I support the author of said books aforementioned. Go ahead.
But if you already own the books and you already own the movies, there's no harm and no foul, and you're still enjoying them. You've already paid for them. She's already got her money. Don't cheat yourself off of your investment. Anyway, we got to go see A Haunting in Venice, and it was really a good movie, enjoyable. It had Michelle Yeoh in it, and she is one of my current favorite actresses. She is also very versatile. She started out her career as a dancer. She is technically not a martial artist, but she is famous for her martial arts movies. And the reason she is famous for martial arts movies is she looked at the martial arts and said, you know, that's a lot like dancing. So she just looks at, I don't know if she can actually fight or not, because everything she knows has been choreographed. But she has choreographed and learned the moves, so I would assume that she should be able to whoop somebody's butt should the need arise. But she started out as a dancer, and her dancing is what got her cast in martial arts movies, because she could dance fight in the movies. So just an interesting side note. But that's a good movie. If you get a chance, go see it. I liked it. I think you'll probably like it too, especially if you are into the Hercule Poirot movies. We watched some TV. We watched a lot of shows on TV, actually. Not our norm. We watched much more than we normally do. We watched the last episode of A Wheel of Time, and it's the last episode she's going to watch until the series is over, because she's done. She kept looking at me like, huh? What's going on? And I'm like, hey, I'm as new to this as you are. I read the books. They didn't. The story is similar, but very different. Very different. Not necessarily a bad storytelling, because it's telling its own story. It's not telling Robert Jordan's story at all. It's just telling its own story using Robert Jordan's world and characters. That being said, if you really want to see A Wheel of Time as Robert Jordan wrote it, this ain't your ticket. If you just want to see an interesting version of what could have been if Robert Jordan was a different person and wrote a different book, check it out. It's there. On regular TV, somebody got the Peacock channel because she wanted to see The Voice without interruptions. Without watching YouTube clips of The Voice. And so we've watched The Voice. We are all caught up on The Voice. And I missed The Voice with Adam Levine. And believe it or not, can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth, Blake Shelton.
Why?
I am not the world's biggest Blake Shelton fan, because
No. Back up. I could care less about that. Why do you miss that version? Why do you miss those two judges?
Because it was, I don't know, it was just different for me. And maybe it's because they were the first ones that I saw. But I like John Legend. I like John Legend a lot as a performer and as an artist. I've never heard of Niall, but
That's because you don't know who One Direction is either.
no, I do not. But One direction south, one direction north, two directions northeast.
Why don't you look it up?
Yes.
You might find you like their music.
Who knows? I might. But at any rate, watching people who are supposed to be superstar status begging somebody, pick me, doesn't.
Why? Blake was always going,
Yeah, well, I didn't say Blake was one of my favorite either. I thought that was rather stupid, and now Neil's doing that. Niall or whatever.
and then every once in a while, when it was Adam Levine, he would be literally on the ground with his hands like this going. And how
I
is that
never
any
saw that
different?
episode.
I'm like, it's
I
not
never
any
saw that
different.
episode. Anyway, I'm not as big a fan of The Voice as she is. So, but we watched with The Voice. We've gotten all caught up on The Voice. So now we're waiting for the next episode of The Voice. When The Voice was all done, we still had Peacock on, and it said, check this out, Irrational. I'm like, oh, I like this guy, Alex. Oh, what is his name? I can't remember his full name. He was on Law and Order, and then he was Joe West on The Flash. And everything I've ever seen him do, he plays a good person, which means I like him better than people who always play bad person. You know, just like that in life. But he is a psychology professor that helps the police out with investigations on occasion, and the only time you actually get any part of his life is those occasions. That they don't spend any time wasting it on him. You get to see him in the classroom lecturing for 10 seconds at a blop. See, he is a professor. Now back to crime solving. It's actually very interesting. He does a great job in this, just like he's done a great job in everything else I've seen him at. So I would highly recommend check out Irrational. It's a good, entertaining watch. She didn't think she would like it because she thought it was going to be dark, but it is not.
Hasn't been so far.
It has some uplifting, motivational stuff going on. So it's got good messages. Lord knows that we haven't got enough TV with good messages. We wanted to watch the new Quantum Leap. It also happens to be on the Peacock. But only season 2 is on the Peacock. It has season 1, but you can't click on season 1. So it's just up there to let you know that season 1 exists. Which
I'm going to try the app and see if it's in the app.
I'm going to tell you something, Peacock, just for your grins and benefits. My brain automatically leaps to the conclusion that if I have season 2, episode 1, my brain automatically already filed away that there is probably a season 1 out there. You don't need to give me a blank, inaccessible thing that says season 1. See, there's a season 1, but you can't watch it. I already figured that out, thank you. Didn't need the little up there. So we watched season 2, episode 1, and the thing about Quantum Leap is you don't need to see all of them to watch any of them. Because at the end of one episode, he would leap, and they would show you the person that he leapt into, and that was the last thing you saw. And his, oh boy. That was the end of every episode. He would look in the mirror and, oh boy. He doesn't go, oh boy. This guy doesn't.
That's because it's not Sam.
That was Scott Bakula's thing. But not having seen season 1 or how season 1 ended, they were playing off from all these things in season 1 that you kind of needed to know for season 2, because this guy is talking to nobody, trying to reach contact with people you don't know. You don't know the whole setup. You don't know how all of this is supposed to be functioning, because he's missing this little blurb. At the end of season 2, episode 1, You find out he's been gone for 3 years. And that's where they left it. So, yeah, I would like to maybe check out season 1 and then come back into season 2. If we can't, don't know how much I'm really committed to seeing. I'll watch it. I won't get up and walk away just because it's on, but I also would not really go out of my way to see it again. I think that covers everything that we watched, does it not, my love?
It does. The only thing left is
Go ahead. Maybe your only thing left isn't my only thing left.
no, go ahead.
Are you sure?
You do yours.
Well,
Because it's really yours that I was thinking of. So go ahead.
mine's got multiple levels. We mentioned last week that Rebecca started a GoFundMe for us to get another vehicle.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Miss Rebecca. Thank you all the people who have been so generous.
Every last one of you, from
There's
the
been some
tiny
just
to the
amazing kindness shown to us. People who don't really have the ability to be that generous, but still were. You know, it's very touching. But I had to give another shout out. I know I sound like I'm a cheerleader for Tammy, and maybe I am. I don't care. Tammy at Cinematic Skeins has gone above and beyond again and just wowed me again. She did a D-Stash sale. D-Stash sale, for those of you who don't know, most of you probably do, is where somebody takes yarn that they already paid for and own, and then say, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this, but I'm not thinking it anymore, and I don't think I'm going to use this, so I'm just going to sell it. And then she sold all this yarn that she decided she would sell, and took 25% of the money that she made from that sale and donated it to our GoFundMe.
Crazy.
What kind of a level of kindness is that, where somebody takes something that is theirs, that they purchased without the intent of selling it, but then they said, I was going to sell this stuff anyway. Jim and Valerie need money for this GoFundMe. I'm just going to sell my yarn, and then I'm going to take part of my money that I made from selling my yarn, and I'm going to donate that to Jim and Valerie. That's amazing to me. Thank you, Tammy.
Same.
And I'm here to ask you if you go check out cinematicskeins.com, whatever. Check out her YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, whatever. Any way you can support this woman's endeavors, I would appreciate that.
She has Instagram, YouTube, and her website. I will link all three down below.
But she has got one of the kindest, most beautiful hearts you will ever encounter. And
True.
She's an amazing person, so thank you. Now, in that same vein, I've been struggling trying to find rides to my medical appointments because not having a car turns out to be quite arduous, because in order to get from our apartment to the Austin VA clinic on Metropolis requires 4 hours of trains and buses and $20 worth of bus fare and train fare. In order to get to my Cedar Park, which is 7 miles away, there is no public transit, so I have to take an Uber or a Lyft. Uber and Lyft, if you go to schedule them in advance, are somewhere between $30 and $40 for the cheapest Uber Lyft. That turns into $60 to $80 per doctor's visit. We can't afford that kind of stuff stuff. So I tried going to all the local churches around us, seeing if maybe somebody, because they were, if the church is right here local near us, then one would think that the congregation lives near the church, wouldn't you? I would. And I solicited the churches around us to see if they had anybody that might be willing to give me a ride to my doctor's visits, and I would compensate them for their time and their use of their vehicle. I just wouldn't compensate them as much as Uber wants compensated. And I got a lot of responses that you don't go to our church, so we won't help you. We only help members of our church. Our congregation's too small to help anybody but our congregation. And I was really absolutely flabbergasted because that's not how it's supposed to work, but it is how it works. It's just not how it's supposed to work. And then I got an answer to an email from, I'm just going to give his first name, a guy named Dave. And Dave said that he would see what he could do about helping me get a ride. And he would call around, and he had a church meeting that night, and he would ask at the church meeting that night. And then he asked me for my phone number, and then we called and we talked, and he had something going on yesterday, so he couldn't do it, but he said his brother was coming back from Waco. And when his brother got back, he would talk to his brother. He talked to his brother, and then his brother talked to me, and Lynn said that he would be happy to pick me up at my apartment and take me to my doctor's visit in Cedar Park, 7 miles away. What Lynn didn't mention is the fact that he lives in Hutto. Hutto is what, 15, 20 miles?
Probably, because you gotta go up one. So ours is here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have go north 5 exits on I-35 to get 79, and you have to take 79 all the way through Round Rock, get past Round Rock, and then you get to Hutto. So, but exact mileage, I don't know.
It's about 15, 20 miles away.
It's a while. It takes, traffic, it takes a while.
So, I did not know this, but Lynn had to get up, drive to my place, leave one city, drive through another city to get to my city, to pick me up and take me to another city, to take me to a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
He doesn't even live near me, and he was still kind enough to come and pick me up. I don't go to his church, and he was kind enough to come pick me up. And then he waited for me, and when we come out, I said, I appreciate this. I know you won't let me pay you for it, so would you at least let me buy you a cup of coffee? And he said, no, I'm actually hungry. And since we're over here, and there's a restaurant that my wife and I used to come to when we lived over here, why don't we just go have breakfast, my treat? And I said, well, I can't let you do that. And he says, well, you can't stop me either. So we went to this restaurant, and he bought me breakfast. Didn't have to do that. He just gave me a ride, just went out of his way, all this, and then he bought me breakfast, and we sat there and we visited and we talked while we were having breakfast. And got to know each other a little bit. And Lynn is an 80-year-old man who is a cancer survivor, but unfortunately his cancer is back. And he is spending what time he has left being thankful for every day that he wakes up. And every day that he wakes up, he tries to do something good. You know what? I like that. I respect that. And the more Dave and Lynn and I talked, the better we got along. And he gave me a ride home. And when he dropped me off at my door, he said, you let me know when you got another doctor's appointment and I will take you. And should you ever decide that you would like to come and go to church with me, you let me know and I'll give you a ride there too. Everybody else that I contacted said, you don't go to our church, you don't get no help. Dave and Lynn said, you need help. We'll help. And then Lynn said, I enjoyed your company and I will give you help again. And if you would like to go to my church with me, I will come pick you up and give you a ride to church. Not if you go to church with me, I will take you to your next doctor's visit. If you would like to go to church with me, I'll come pick you up. But I'm going to give you a ride to your next doctor's appointment. I believe that those people actually understand more about what the whole mission of the church is than all the other people that I contacted that did not. So without giving your name away or anything, if you're watching this, Lynn, thank you, sir. I truly, truly appreciate you and what you have done for me. And I think you're a good person. So that wraps me up. I've said everything I think I need to say. Is there anything I left out, loved one?
Have an awesome day, y'all.
Bye.